I'd like to introduce your board of directors. Each director comes from a different geographic area of the cooperative service territory, but all directors serve the entire cooperative. And I'm going to ask the directors are down front, I'm going to ask them to stand also, the picture will be on the screen. From Zone 1, FL Ray Sports of Fairfield. Zone 2, Thomas R. Harbaugh of East Berlin, Secretary of the Board. Zone 3, Glenn Bang of Hanover, Vice President of the Board. Zone 4, Thomas J. Knopf of Wellsville, Treasurer of the Board. Zone 5, William E. Myers of Glenville. Zone 6, Judith J. White of New Freedom. I serve as director from Zone 7 and live in Shippensburg. Zone 8, S. Eugene Herrick of Shippensburg. And Zone 9, Daniel E. Eisenhart of Newville. That's your board of directors.
That's good.
Two former directors are also joining us here this evening.
Sorry about that.
Wilbur Wainwright and his wife Mary Jane from the Gettysburg area. Where are they?
I'm just filling in for the guy.
Here they are.
I'm running slowly.
Joe Stafford and his wife Carolyn. Back there is Joe Stafford. And also Elizabeth Hurd. The former director, Bradley Hurd, is here with us tonight. Where's over there? She don't want to stand up. I told her she was going to have to. Three visitors from our sister cooperative of Costa Rica are also with us tonight. And please stand as you're introduced. They're down front here. Omar Miranda Morillo, General Manager. Maria Amelia Chavez, the President of the Board of Administration, just elected President. And Abraham P. Alga, Secretary of the Board of Administration. Could Omar, Maria, and Abraham please come to the stage? Over the past 28 years, our two cooperatives have shared a very close relationship. During those years, both cooperatives have grown in service to their members as we strive to keep the lights on for our rural residents. This gift, a statue of the Lady of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is a token of our appreciation for your continued friendship. Thank you for joining us here tonight. And do you have a few words and remarks also?
Buenas noches, saludos hermanos cooperativistas de parte de nuestra cooperativa Copelesca RL.
Good night, greeting members. Copelesca provides you with warm greeting.
Ya somos 73,800 asociados y hemos logrado una cobertura de electrificación de 99.81%. Además, estamos produciendo nuestra propia energía en un 50% con recursos naturales renovables, energía hidroeléctrica.
We have 73,800 members, and we have electrified 99.81% of our country. We are producing 50% of our own energy from natural resources, with each hydroelectric.
Y ofreciendo el servicio de TV cable e internet.
We also bring TV, service, cable, and internet.
Gracias al apoyo de Adams Electric, hemos avanzado en trabajos en caliente y con un plan piloto de Smart Grid patrocinado por Enreca.
Thanks to the support from Adams, we have advanced. Our hotline works. Kopelska also has a smart grid pilot plan with an RECA. Thank you very much. We would like to bring this present for you, Jay.
Sí, voy a leerlo. Dice, su cooperativa, Copelesca felicita a su cooperativa hermana Adams Electric en su celebración de su 72 asamblea anual. Adams Electric ha sido consistente, persistente y efectiva, contribuyendo para el futuro. Felicitaciones por tan excelentes logros.
The president said, Kopelska congratulates our sister co-ops Adams Electric in celebration of its 72nd annual meetings. Adams Electric has been consistent, persistent, and effective in building for the future. Congratulations on such excellent achievements.
Thank you so much. Thank you. As you can see, they know Spanish better than I do. They can speak it better than I can do it. And as you can see, the friendship that we have conducted over the years, the 28 years that we've been together, it's amazing. Also at this time, we'd like to recognize Director Judy Quaich, who will be stepping down from our board after 14 years of service. Her duties end this evening, and she will be greatly missed by all of us. Judy was the first woman to serve on the board of directors. Judy, could you please come forward?
To say a few words?
Let me just go on.
Would you like to say something?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the fellow directors. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I know that my successor is going to enjoy it just as much as I did. You know, the Adams Board is something really special. We're very diverse, but in the end, we all come together in agreement. And that's the way a board should work. We have wonderful leadership and of our present CEO, and also I served under Dan Murray, who was our past CEO. I just can't tell you enough how much I have appreciated being reelected several times, and thank you very much to the members who have made this possible, and thank you very much, Board of Directors. This was a picture. This was a picture 2 nights ago. I was at my final board meeting, and they brought in a cake with 14 candles on it, and I was really surprised. Thanks. Now, let's see if I can get that.
Yeah, be careful. Oh, On behalf of the Board of Directors and the co-op employees, we congratulate you and thank you for the years of service. And that's with the Trailblazer Award, you help us pave the way for other females to take a leadership role within our cooperatives, and we thank you so much. Next, please welcome Adams Electric CEO, General Manager Steve Rasmussen, for a few announcements.
Thank you, President Grove, and good evening, everybody. Everyone's still awake out there, right? I really want to thank everyone for coming here tonight. We have a really good turnout. Anytime you change venue, you're not sure what's going to happen, but we had over 300 memberships register and over 650 folks that said they were going to turn out here tonight. Now, I know the weather looked pretty nice out there, so hopefully we have a good record of close to that number showing up here this evening, but I understand when the weather turns nice, it's sometimes hard to get people here. But I am curious, I'm looking out into the crowd, and I want a show of hands. How many are here for the first time at your first ever Adams Electric annual meeting? Excellent, excellent. We certainly hope you enjoyed tonight, and don't make this your last meeting and come join us every year. We do appreciate the support. I also want to start off by thanking some people, and first of all, the food tonight was excellent. Kathy's Deli, Ragged Edge, the Broken Cookie. Did anybody have any dessert? Wow, I was shocked. It was excellent. So can we give them a round of applause, all those individuals, for catering our food tonight? And I also hope everybody stopped at the registration table on your way in and picked up your bag. In that bag, you should have a member card, a program, and an annual report. If you did not vote online or by mail, you should have also received a ballot at registration, and your election committee will collect those later in the program. Each membership should have also received a door prize ticket for later in the program and an appreciation gift. The gift this year is an aluminum LED flashlight with a pop-up lantern and a strobe setting. You have to be sure to remove the plastic disc to activate your lantern. We certainly hope you had time to visit the exhibits located down the hallway leading to the auditorium. I'd like to thank the guests that were here tonight. They were Aero Energy. Aero is a subsidiary of Adams Electric. Asplin Tree Expert Company. Adams County Office for Aging. AARP, Safe Driving Practices. Capital Blue Cross. Gettysburg Area Community Concert Association. Hundredfold Farm. PSECU. Wellspan Health Services, and York Adams chapter of the American Red Cross. If you could give all those organizations a round of applause, please. Now, for those of you that are new, this is for you. Everyone else knows this because they've been taking part in it over the past several years. But we have a question and answer session at the end of this meeting. Your directors, management staff, and myself will be available to answer those questions. There are 2 microphones out in the floor here, and we'll get to those later when we do the question and answer session. We also know that some people don't like to walk up to a microphone and talk in front of 600 people. So we will be here after the meeting. There's plenty of employees in the blue shirts, directors, management staff. All of us will be here afterwards if you'd rather talk to us on a one-on-one basis. We'll gladly do that with you. We also have a children's area off the main part of the auditorium. So if you have a child that's between the ages of 5 and 12 and is interested in joining in the fun, please take him or her to the children's program now. If you just head to the main doors in the auditorium, an employee will assist you because you have to sign them in. And also when you pick them up, you have to sign them out. And we have a new change this year. If you forget to pick your child up, I'm serious, they will become part of the door prize drawing, and they will go home with somebody because the cooperative does not need children hanging around the buildings. So we will find a way, one way or another, to get the children home. Just might be a different home. We do want to thank the Gettysburg Fire Company. They have a rescue unit here. The ambulance is parked outside, and the emergency personnel are in the back of the auditorium. The main exits are to the rear of the auditorium in case of an emergency. And if you can't get to the rear part of the auditorium because of the emergency, there are side exits as well. We also would like to thank the Adams County Fire Police for handling the parking arrangements. And finally, last but not least, I've got some introductions, and I'm going to have some folks stand and be recognized. From the Pennsylvania Rural Electric Association, Kathy Hackelman, Senior Editor of Penn Lines. Kathy's right down here up front. We have many partners in the cooperative program, and we have a couple of partners from two different banks that we borrow money from. They're quite friendly to one another most days, but I'd like to recognize both of those individuals this evening. Clarence Mahavlich is Vice President with CoBank. I saw Clarence briefly in the hallway. Where is he now? Clear over to the side, my right side. There he is, kind of in the dark section. Is Mr. Jim Myers sitting next to you, Clarence, or is he somewhere else in the auditorium? Oh, he's up front. Look at this, Clarence, trying to one-up you. Jim Myers, Regional Vice President with the National Rural Utilities Cooperative Finance Corporation, which is a mouthful, so I just call it CFC. Thanks, Jim. We do have some elected officials here. Some were here, may have left. Some were arriving potentially late because of things happening in Harrisburg. So Senator Mike Wall was supposed to be here. He did not make it. Yeah, I know he was getting tied up in Harrisburg, but we appreciate Mike's support anyways. State Representative Dan Mile was here. He wasn't sure if he was going to make it. Is he still here? Thanks, Dan. Appreciate all the support. Thanks for coming out tonight. And more importantly is Chris Kimple from your office here. One, she's a member of Adams Electric, so we always like Chris's support. And we know who really does all the work at the office, so thanks, Chris, for coming out tonight. Scott Pitzer from Senator Alloway's office. Scott was supposed to make it here. Did Scott make it in? Yep, he's in the back. I can see him standing up kind of in the shadow. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate your support as well, and the senator's support too. And also State Representative Will Tallman. I did see Will earlier. Will is also a member, so I'd like to give him a double introduction. Will's up front. Sitting next to County Commissioner Jim Martin and his wife Ginny, if they could be recognized as well. They say a lot about cooperatives, and there's an old saying that we were born in politics and we'll die in politics, and we've talked about co-op owners for political action and encourage our members to get involved, and I'm not trying to do that tonight. But really, it takes people working together, whether they're elected officials or not, whether they're members, and that's what we're all about as a cooperative. So I really do appreciate our elected officials being here tonight, whether they're members or not, coming out. They've got very busy schedules, and to hear what's happening with your cooperative, we just really appreciate it, and really give them another round of applause, please, all those individuals. And last but certainly not least, there was at least 62 employees. They're standing throughout the room. If they could stand and be recognized, they did a great job. Whenever you change something, but getting ready for this meeting, and I did ask them to stand, and I see some of them sitting, so I'm not quite sure why they're not standing to be recognized. So if the employees could stand and be recognized. They not only work hard to get this meeting together for you, they work hard for you day in and day out, and I really appreciate it. They make my life a lot easier, and without this group of employees, the things that we're going to report on later in this meeting could never be possible. So I thank them for coming out tonight and doing the job that they do. And with that, I'll turn the program back over to Jay to verify the meeting quorum. Jay.
Board Secretary Harbaugh has attested that there was 28,095 meeting notices were mailed to Adams Electric members, and an official call to this meeting was printed in the May issue of Penn Lines magazine. Since at least 150 members are present, a member quorum exists. According to the bylaws, we can conduct business of the cooperative and consider other matters brought before the meeting. Each member registered for today's meeting who has not already voted by mail, ballot, or online may vote in the director's election. Under the bylaws, this is the only matter members are authorized to take action on at this meeting. All ballots cast by eligible voting members shall be counted to determine the directors elected for zones 2, 6, and 7. I will now ask Mr. Harbaugh to read the minutes of the 2012 annual meeting, or, if you prefer, to consider a motion to dispense with the reading of these minutes and ask the Board of Directors to sit at the meeting review committee and take action on the minutes at their next regular board meeting. I have a motion here, seconded by back here. We got motions everywhere. Here, so. Everyone in favor of asking the Board of Directors to sit at the Minute Review Committee and take action on the minutes at the next regular board meetings, say aye. Those opposed, no. So ordered. I now turn the program over to our corporate attorney, Sam Teeter, for the direction of the election, the director election. Thank you.
Good evening. Our next order of business is the election of directors. The election procedure and qualifications for directors are listed in the bylaws and were published in the November 2012 and December 2012 issue of your Penn Lines magazine. I will now review this procedure. The Cooperative is divided into 9 zones, as most of you know. 3 zones are located in each of the Cooperative service districts. 3 directors are elected from each of those zones. They each serve a 3-year term on the Board of Directors. The 9 directors serving on the board are elected on a rotating basis, 1 director being elected annually from each service district. The director election process ends with the Credentials and Election Committee's final tabulation of the votes cast and the announcement by its chairman of the tally of those votes at the end of the business portion of this meeting. To be eligible to run for director, a member must reside in a director zone in which the term of a director will expire at the next annual member meeting. A nominee must also meet the qualifications for director listed in the bylaws. A qualified member can become a candidate in one of 3 ways. First, by a nominating petition signed by not less than 25 other cooperative members in good standing, must be delivered to the Cooperative's headquarters office no later than 4:30 p.m. on the last business day in January, preceding the next annual meeting. This year, that deadline was Thursday, January 31st. And that is the most common method for nomination. But, secondly, if a petition from a qualified candidate is not received in a timely manner from a zone in which a director's term will expire, the Credentials and Election Committee must secure at least 2 qualified director nominees from that zone. Must try, I should say. Because the third method is if no nominating petition is received from a qualified candidate to fill the seat of a director whose term is set to expire, and the election committee is unable to secure at least 2 qualified candidates for that director position by the last day of February, nominations for director candidates will be solicited at the meeting for that zone. The members so nominated must be both qualified and willing to serve. Fortunately, nominating petitions were received on or before Thursday, January 31st, 2013, from director candidates in all 3 zones in which the director terms are set to expire at this year's annual meeting. The Credentials and Election Committee's responsibility this year was therefore limited to validating the petitions received from the candidates. I now ask the members of the 2013 Credentials and Election Committee to please stand and be recognized as I introduce you. From Zone 1, Joan Reeve of Ortana. Is Joan here? If she could stand. Over there she is over there. I can't see very well. The Klieg light's up here. From Zone 2, Elaine Gilbert of York Springs and Charlene Leatherman of Gettysburg. Elaine and Charlene. From Zone 3, Barbara Lockman of New Oxford. From Zone 4, Lorena Cutshall of Dover. From Zone 5, Ted Schaefer of Spring Grove. From Zone 6, Frank Whitcraft of New Freedom and Ruth Smith of Red Lion. From Zone 7, Richard White and Patricia Patrick, both of Shippensburg. From Zone 8, John Casarda of Shippensburg, and from Zone 9, Lynn Ziegler of Newville. And at this time, I'd ask that you give them a round of applause. They work hard for the first 6 months of the year to get ready for this meeting. The members of the committee also serve as election tellers. At this time, I'd ask Ted Schaefer, chairman of the 2013 Credentials and Election Committee, to come forward to provide you with the committee's report and to introduce the candidates.
Good evening. The Election and Credentials Committee met 4 times this year. On February 4th, the committee reviewed the election procedures, elected officers, and validated the director candidate petitions. On February 11th, the candidates met and chose the speaking order for the February and March member-zone meetings. At this meeting, the committee also reauthorized the use of candidate videos in place of live speeches. On April 4th, the committee certified the results of the March primary ballot position elections in Zones 2 and 6. These results were compiled by Survey and Ballot Systems, which allows for a more secure and impartial voting system. SBS also provides online voting, which encourages more members to cast ballots. At the final meeting held on June 18th, the committee certified the votes cast through SBS both online or by mail during the May-June general election. Today, the committee will act as tellers and tally any final in-person ballots cast. At this time, I will introduce the candidates for director. As I call the candidates' names, will the candidates please stand to be recognized? From Zone 2, candidate Thomas R. Harbaugh of East Berlin is running against David T. Newcomer of East Berlin. From Zone 6, candidates Nadine M. Hubner of Felton, Mark S. Zuzik of New Freedom, and James W. Boone of Stewartstown are running for this seat vacated by Director Judy Quaish of New Freedom. And from Zone 7, candidate J.E. Grove is running unopposed. All candidates were given the opportunity to address you in person or by video for up to 3 minutes this evening. Both candidates from Zone 2 and 2 candidates from Zone 6 have chosen to talk here about their backgrounds and intentions as an Adams Electric director. A third candidate from Zone 6 will have a video shown on his behalf. According to the ballot order for Zone 2, incumbent Tom Harbaugh will speak first, followed by Dave Newcomer. To assist them in staying on track, I will time them with this stopwatch. I will stand up at 2 minutes to alert them they have 1 minute remaining and give them time to close their remarks. Tom, if you will please come forward.
Good evening, members. I would like to thank everyone who helped me get established in the co-op electric utility business. I also want to give my special thanks to Judy for all the help and inspiration that she has given not only me, but my fellow directors and members over the past 15 years of service to the co-op. Judy sets a good example for all of us to follow as a person and director. Best of luck to you, Judy, in your future endeavors. I am pleased also that we have an enthusiastic and capable group of candidates, which I hope to see grow in numbers in the coming years. With our emphasis on youth and scholarship awards, I am certain we are going in the right direction to see this growth. At our zone meetings in our cooperative offices, in the news media, and in our day-to-day work. I think it is evident that our co-op sets the standard high. Our members, employees, along with committee members and current board members continue to work toward this goal of high achievement. I am proud to be part of this wonderful group of rural Americans trying to build a better world for our children and grandchildren. During my first term in office, I have contributed to this better world, and I know that I and we as a co-op must continue to be a leader. We must be aggressive, be competitive, move forward, plan not only for the next year, but to plan strategically as much as 30 to 40 years forward with our goals. In today's world, we must continue to constantly move forward. I was also honored when your board put their trust in me and voted me as the board secretary after completion of my education credits last year. My participation in various committees, public appearances, renewable energy, and education, I feel I have displayed my drive. Your cooperative must be the best it can be. Vote for me, and I will continue to work for you to fulfill our goal to provide our members with good service and economical, electric, and improve the rural life in America. Thank you for your trust in me, Tom Harbaugh, and I said it 3 years ago, and I'll say it today. Adams is the best, and we want to keep it that way. I thank you for your vote.
Thank you, Tom. Now we will hear from David Newcomer. Dave, if you will please come forward.
Welcome, and thank you for attending the Adams Electric Co-op annual meeting. Hello, I'm Dave Newcomer. Myself and my wife have been a resident of the East Berlin area and a member of the Adams Electric Co-op for the past 39 years. Over the last several months, I have been seeking your approval and your vote for director for Zone 2. Throughout my career at the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, I've headed many high-profile investigations with many utilities, that being electric, natural gas, telephone, water, wastewater, and including our transportation industry. After 35 years of service, I retired in January of 2007. In February, I was hired as an energy consultant by a company out of Virginia called CRA, which was hired by the state of Pennsylvania to identify all critical infrastructure and that posted a threat that would compromise the state of Pennsylvania or the nation. In 2009 through 11, I was asked to return to the Public Utility Commission for a very high-level process that the Department of Energy provided most states to develop an energy assurance plan. And within that plan, a workforce development process, an energy interruption tracking process, and a critical emergency fuel set-aside program. But what I'd like to share with you today are my thoughts on energy innovation. For me, it's imperative in the electric industry that we shift our culture, the way we think, and the way we use electricity. Folks simply said, innovation to me represents the best efforts taken to waste the least amount of energy, reducing the need for additional generation, and taking a stronger look at renewables such as solar and wind, and some newer advanced technologies coming our way, as well as such as wave and vibration technologies. In closing, as members are committed to shifting our culture towards energy efficiency practices, as well as any of the conventional theories that, use all you want, we'll make more, is not the way we need to go for our children. I, as a director, will support only decision-making and programs that demonstrate clearly that Adams Electric is indeed looking out for its members and doing everything that can be done to continue providing safe and reliable service and keeping rates as low as possible. I thank you, and I hope that over the last several months, I have gained your support and your vote for director.
Thank you, Dave. According to the ballot order for Zone 6, Nadine Hubner will speak first, followed by Mark Zuzik. James Boone has chosen to have a video shown on his behalf this evening. Nadine, if you will please come forward.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see so many of you again. And for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I am Nadine Hubner. I'm a 20-year member of Adams Electric. I live in North Hopewell Township, York County, and I'm seeking the Zone 6 directorship. This evening, you all received a copy of the 2012 annual report, aptly called Building for the Future. It's a wonderfully crafted document that gives us as members a glimpse of what our future might be. And I might say that it looks like a very, very bright future. Most notably, this document is built on the organization's mission of providing reliable and affordable power and also improving the quality of rural life. And as members, we talk about these things all the time. Now, to accomplish the report's outcomes, such as lagging rates, capital improvements, and community givebacks, directors had to be good listeners of the membership. They had to focus on the big picture, and they had to have an eye for opportunity, all while dealing with the challenges of our economy, regulatory environment, ever-changing technology, and don't forget Mother Nature. No doubt these challenges will be with us in the future. Now, I currently work for State Senator Mike Waz as Chief of Staff, and our legislative district covers the lion's share of York County. And my work is constituent-driven. That means I work with all kinds of people from all walks of life, people in manufacturing, small business, agriculture, local government. And while my work is constituent-driven, I also work in all kinds of subject areas. I work with transportation, planning, and economic development. And to do my job and do it well, I too must be a good listener. I have to look at the big picture, and I also have an eye for opportunity. Now, my community service endeavors are broad. I currently serve on the York County Heritage Trust Board. I chair the Margaret E. Malholm Board. I'm membership secretary at Hopewell Fish and Game, and I volunteer with the Pennsylvania Game Commission's Hunter Safety Program. Building for the future. It's about meeting the challenge of a reliable and affordable power, and while improving the quality of rural life. And I believe that my work experience and skills, along with my community service background, make me a good fit for the Zone 6 director and meeting that challenge. So today, I continue to ask you for your support in seeking this position, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Nadine. Now we will hear from Mark Zuzik. Mark, if you would please come forward. Good evening, fellow Adams Electric Cooperative members. Welcome to the annual meeting. My name is Mark Zuzik, and I'm here to ask for your vote. My wife and I reside in New Freedom in southern York County. We've been Adams Electric Cooperative members for 15 years. I would like to introduce you to my wife, Linda. Linda, would you please stand up? Thank you, folks. Linda and I serve on the Member Advisory Committee. At this time, I would like to thank the Board of Directors and you, the members, for providing me with the opportunity to seek election to the Cooperative Board of Directors. It has been a wonderful experience. I strongly urge each and every one of you to get involved. The rewards of serving your cooperative are great. I would be remiss if I did not thank Steve and his professional staff for all their help and support during the campaign. Thank you, one and all. Why should you vote for me? I would summarize my qualifications in two ways. Personally, I've experienced many of life's challenges and rewards. These life experiences have prepared me well for evaluating the issues from a human perspective. Professionally, having successfully served as Chief Executive Officer, Treasurer, and Secretary of a major nonprofit organization, the Maryland Farm Bureau, I have encountered many of the challenges that any business organization would likely encounter. I am confident that I will be able to evaluate the issues and formulate positive solutions. I promise you, the members, that I will do my best to help ensure a successful future for Adams Electric. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Mark. Finally, we will watch a video prepared by Mr. Boone, which has been verified for time by the cooperative.
Hello, and thank you for watching this video. My name is Jim Boone. I'm a resident of Stewartstown, and I've been a member of the Adams Co-op for over a decade now. I'm interested in a position on the board of directors because it would allow me an opportunity to apply my over 22 years of experience in the electric industry to help ensure that Adams continues to maintain low electric rates while providing adequate and reliable service. I'm going to walk you through my experience for a moment, and I believe you'll conclude, as I have, that it's relevant to a position on the Adams board. I began in 1990 as an engineer with the Maryland Public Service Commission, worked in the engineering capacity for a decade, as you can see from the written materials. And in that capacity, I was responsible for reviewing the performance of utility management teams, similar to Adams' management team, in the areas related to the production of electric generation, to transmission and distribution design, and to the competitiveness of fuel procurement practices. And I testified before the Maryland Commission explaining why or why not the utility made a prudent decision and why or why not the utility should be able to recover the costs of that decision in utility rates. In 2000, I transferred to the legal division at the Maryland Public Service Commission, worked in a legal capacity for about 7 years, worked to the point where I was managing the overall legal team. And that experience allowed me to participate in explain and argue matters related to the design of electricity markets. The electricity markets are evolving as we speak, as the industry transitions to a competitive environment. I worked on rate cases for investor-owned utilities and co-ops. We have 2 large co-ops in Maryland. Dealt with issues like what is the right level of pension expense, what's the proper health care cost, items that are reflected in the rates that we pay at Adams. I currently work for Pepco Holdings, Inc. PEPCO has 3 operating utilities that operate in DC, Maryland, Delaware, and in New Jersey. I initially started with PEPCO in 2007, worked as a regulatory attorney, and I was fortunate to get involved in 2 large projects. I managed the regulatory aspects of a $1.2 billion transmission project and worked on the advancement of advanced metering infrastructure, smart grid, smart distribution, automation technologies. I currently manage a group that is responsible for overseeing the implementation of reliability standards, both operating and planning standards as well as cybersecurity standards. It's the sum of this work that gives me a wide range of experience in the decision-making process for utility decisions that I would bring to the Adams Board to assist it in making future decisions that will impact the rates we pay. Thank you for your time for watching this video, and thank you for considering me as a candidate for the Board of Directors.
Thank you, candidates. I now turn the meeting over to Mr. Teeter, who will provide some final instructions on the casting and collection of ballots by registered members in attendance who have not voted by mail or online.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. You've heard the presentations of the Zone 2 and Zone 6 director candidates and the report of the Credentials and Election Committee. The following members seek election to serve 3-year terms as directors first from Zone 2, Thomas Harbaugh and David Newcomer. From Zone 6, Nadine Hubner, Mark Zuzik and James Boone. And from Zone 7, Jay Grove. Those members of the Credentials and Election Committee present should now come forward to begin collecting the ballots of registered members in attendance who are casting their ballots at this meeting. Members present, if you have not already done so, please mark your ballot now and pass it to the center or side aisles for the election tellers to collect. The results of the 2013 election will be reported after the Credentials and Election Committee completes its tabulation of the results. Are there any more ballots for the tellers to collect before they leave the meeting room? If so, put your hand up, pass your ballot to the side aisle. Ballots given to the tellers after they leave will not be counted, so no more ballots. It looks like all ballots are collected. The balloting process is now closed, and I'll hand the meeting back over to Mr. Grove and Mr. Rasmussen for the board and manager's report. We'll let the tellers exit the room first.
The election process that you just witnessed is one example of democracy in action. It also represents your ability to vote as an owner of this cooperative. At this time, I will invite Mr. Rasmussen back to the stage, and Steve and I usually do separate reports. But we thought this year we would change that and do a more informal, combined report. We will ask each other several questions and hold more of a conversation about the important things that have happened at Adams Electric over the past year. We will be pointing out some of the topics covered in the 2012 annual report, a copy of which you should have received in your bag at registration. We hope you like this more informal approach to our reports, so with that being said, here we go. And Steve is way over there.
I think I see you, Jay.
Steve, last October, Hurricane Sandy had a huge impact on our reliability. Can you explain the impact of Sandy and where we are with reliability today?
Sure thing. And as members, I'm sure you know, thinking back over the last few years, we've had quite a few weather-related major events that have happened, and Hurricane Sandy definitely was the topper. You can see some pictures on the screen here. It was the most expensive storm that Adams Electric ever had, and I'm going to get you some of the highlights. Maybe I should call them lowlights of that storm. We had about 8,500 members without power at the peak. And throughout that storm, we had about half of our members not have power at some point in time. That storm ranked as one of the top 5 worst storms if measured with member outage hours. And as you probably remember, there was a lot of trees down all throughout our service territory, and there was over 40 poles that were snapped off or broken in some capacity and had to be replaced. The storm cost us $750,000. And like I said, that was the largest cost of restoration efforts in the history of Adams Electric. We did have some storm reserve on the books where money was put aside for in case storms hit, but over the course of the past few years, as you know, with the weather events that have occurred, Sandy took care of any of those storm reserves, so there are no more storm reserves on the books. But there is good news when it comes to reliability to get off of the Hurricane Sandy. If you just measure the distribution side of the business, we are a distribution cooperative, and we distribute power, as you know, to homes and businesses. But if you exclude those major events, our distribution outages are still relatively minimal. And as members, even if you throw storms in, if I was a betting man, I would bet on Adams Electric every time compared to Med-Ed or Penelec, depending on where you live, that our folks will have your power back in service before your neighbors at Adams Electric. Just taking Hurricane Sandy, for example, I think our member that was without power for the longest was about 4 days, and I know those investor-owned utilities were a week or 2. So I still think that reliability-wise, we stack up and we do measure ahead of our neighboring investor-owned utilities. But we're not resting on that. There's things that we think we need to do better. In 2013, for example, we're having a heck of a time with our transmission provider, and I want to explain that just a little bit. As a distribution utility, we take the power from substations and bring them over our lines to your homes and businesses, but we've got to get power to our substations. And that's not Adams Electric's business. That's transmission providers' service that they provide. And in our areas, it's Med-Ed and Penelec. Well, the transmission service, quite frankly, and I'll be blunt, is very poor here in 2013. It's almost as bad as having these major storms come through, but there's no storms. So that's one area that we're working on here as a goal in 2013. And how do we do that? Our energy comes from Allegheny Electric Cooperative. It is a cooperative owned by the cooperatives in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And so they're the generators. So the electricity gets generated, has to go over the transmission lines to get to us. So there's that missing piece in the middle that we really don't have any control over. But we sure put a lot of pressure on them, and we work with Allegheny to do so. So that's what we've been working on here in 2013, and we're going to continue to do that with the help of Allegheny Electric Cooperative. But the second area with reliability is something you all can help us with. This chart is in your annual report that you see on the screen, and it's from 2012, and it shows that trees and wind caused about 3/4 of our outages last year. So we need you. We all love trees. We don't love trees near the power lines. So when we come knocking on your door and we ask to trim the right-of-ways, please let us do so. And you'll help out yourselves, you'll help out your neighbors, you'll help out the entire membership. And in addition to that, last year we restarted the right-of-way floor spraying program, and it's a chemical that's put down. It's safe, it doesn't harm you, but it kills off some of the thicker brush that will eventually grow up into the lines, and grass will start growing again. So if we're coming out to spray in your area, please let our folks do so. It's very important, those two programs. So basically in 2013, we're allocating more resources to our right-of-way program. I need your help, and we want to remain strong with our reliability numbers, and I think we will. And with the help of our membership, we'll certainly head in the right direction with those programs. But throw Sandy aside, I think our reliability numbers are pretty solid. But Sandy was a challenge last year, and it was a challenge not just with reliability numbers, it was a challenge with the money that I talked about. And so we remained financially strong at the end of the year, and you may recall there was a little bit of a change in that patronage capital, though. A great way, you voted tonight. That's one great way of showing that you're a cooperative member. Another great way is you have a check that comes to you every year, and that process changed slightly, mainly because Hurricane Sandy was so costly, but there were some other things, and I'll maybe ask Jay to expand on that and explain what happened with that process change and what's the board's thought behind it, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, Steve. As we have said many times, Adams Electric is a cooperative, and our rates are set simply to cover the cost of delivering reliable power to you. Excess revenues are returned to you at the end of each year as patronage capital following a vote of the Board of Directors. And over the past 39 years, Adams Electric has returned more than $33 million back to the current and former members. This is money going directly back into the local economy. The chart on the screen breaks out more recent retirements in 5-year increments going back to 1988. The most current category on the right side is larger than the others because our energy supplier, Allegheny Electric Cooperative, began returning patronage capital during those 5 years. So that's a cooperative also, and it returns it back to us as Adams Electric. That means they are more financially sound than ever before. As you will read in the annual report, the 2012 patronage capital retirement of just over $2 million was deferred from December to February. That is because we faced higher than expected energy supply costs in 2012, and also we needed some time to recover our costs from Hurricane Sandy. The patronage capital you receive represents your share in the cooperative. We don't have stockholders. We have you and thousands of other people like you as members and former members. You share ownership and elect the members, such as us, to the Board of Directors to set the policy and rates. Speaking of rates, Steve, can you tell us where we stand with rates right now and where might they be next year?
Sure. You can tell who the boss is because he throws me all the hard questions. You noticed that, right?
Oh, right.
Coming off those Hurricane Sandy type numbers, and we had a rate increase in January, as you probably recall, so I've got the tough ones, I'm thinking. Maybe, I don't know. But we do have great news when it comes to rates. Yes, we had a rate increase last January to kind of keep up with the rising costs of energy supply and the cost to distribute the power to you. And that was roughly a 4.9% rate increase. And if you take the average Adams Electric member who uses about 1,250 kilowatt hours, it came to about $6 per month. And we don't like raising rates. We're a cooperative. We do not benefit by raising rates to bring money to the bottom line because the bottom line just goes back to you as members anyways. But we do have rates that tend to go up because things cost more money. But the good news is, and you'll see on this chart on the screen, which is also in your annual report, that our rates are lower than what most people in Pennsylvania and quite frankly in the Northeast are paying. And you can see the highlighted areas to the right. that in 2013, the electric bill maybe you just paid or the one you're going to pay next month, on average, Adams Electric members are paying about 11.3 cents per kilowatt hour right now today, and that's everything. That's the cost of service, the service charge, that's energy supply, that's distribution, it's the whole bill. Take your bottom line dollar amount you pay and divide it by the kilowatt hours you purchased, and the average member comes in right around 11.3 cents. Now you can compare that to what the average Pennsylvanian was paying back in 2011. It's the most recent data we have, and back then they were paying 13.3 cents. So 2 cents more on average than Adams Electric members. And we will update those numbers when they're published, and I'm pretty certain that they're going to be going up even higher. So from that standpoint, we're in good shape. And you might say, oh, 2 cents per kilowatt hour, what does that really mean? Well, if you take that average Adams Electric member at 1,250 kilowatt hours a month, 2 cents means about $25 in your electric bill. So keep that in perspective. The other good thing about rates with Adams Electric is your board management. We try to set rates once a year. We do that around budget time. We look at what we might need, and we keep the rates as stable as we can all year long. The investor-owned utilities, for the past couple of years, have been changing their rates quarterly, and they're going up and they're going down and they're all over the board, and you really don't know, stability-wise, what you're going to be paying in a couple of months for electricity. So I think that's another excellent advantage of being a cooperative member. So you might be asking why? Why do we have it so good? Well, there's several reasons, but I'll try to boil it down to a couple. One, it's our business model. We are a cooperative. Like I said earlier, you're not going to gain any more by just charging more for electricity because you're going to give that back to your members. We're not trying to build up a bottom line to give it back to any shareholders because our members are our shareholders. You're one and the same. But the business model is different for us still in other ways. For example, we own Allegheny Electric Cooperative, our power supplier. Investor-owned utilities in the state of Pennsylvania got out of that business. They said, we're not going to do it. We're just going to distribute electricity to our customers, and we don't care what they pay for it, because in theory, they could go buy it somewhere else. Well, we don't buy that. We don't think that's really true, and quite frankly, we haven't seen anybody come in to try to sell electricity to our members, so we're trying real hard to keep the old business model, which seems to be working right now. So Allegheny Electric Cooperative, we're still an owner of that organization. It is a cooperative. It's not looking to make money for its members because that money, again, like Jay explained, flows back to us in patronage capital. And they still own assets. And this is in your annual report. And you can see that in 2012, about 54% of your electricity came from an asset of a nuclear power plant that's owned by Allegheny Electric. 9% comes from hydro sources. About half of that is owned, half of that's a long-term contract with New York Power Authority, and about a third of it's on the market. And so that third does fluctuate quite a bit, but overall it keeps our rates very stable. Another reason I think costs are less for our members is that we have a very aggressive load control program. And you'll see more about that on page 2 of your annual report. But the highlights of that program are it's saved us $22 million in avoided power costs over the past 25 years. That program also keeps rates stable by lowering the electricity purchases during peak times. We have about 10,000 members on that program in some capacity. It's usually a load control switch on a water heater or a heat pump, central air unit, and some people even control whole sub-panels in their home. They're separately metered. But the most important part of that program, and I'm curious, how many of you are on that program? Some sort of load control program. Okay, those of you who didn't raise your hand, the good news is there's still room to expand this program and get you on this load control program to save more money on your electric bill. So I really encourage you, take a look at it, and we'll help you, we'll walk you through, we'll answer any questions you have about that program, but it definitely saves money and it helps keep our rates stable. So now you know where our rates are. You know why they're there, but what's going to happen in the future? Well, we're a cost-based organization, like I said. We don't have the market fluctuations, and our costs do continue to rise, both in the energy supply and on the distribution side of the business. And I do see probably the need for another rate increase next year and the year after, but it's going to be minimal. I just don't know how much it is at this point in time. It's something that we analyze during our budget process in the fall, Your board of directors looks at it very carefully, and we come up with a number that we think is palatable and that we can live with for the following year. If I had to guess, I would say it'd probably be between 3 and 5% next year, maybe a little less, not quite sure. But as soon as we know what that number is, we will definitely talk to you about it. So keep reading your pen lines, keep looking at the online information we send and your bill stuffers and things like that, so that way we'll keep you informed no matter what it looks like. So to summarize the rate situation, we're proud to say that our rates are less than everybody else's, and even with small increases potentially here in 2014 and 15, our rates will still be substantially lower than everybody else around us. So that's one good thing you'll see, and we're going to continue to beat, I think, our neighboring investor-owned utilities with the reliability and services we provide you, like the load control program. We'll come in and energy audit your house for you for free, so we're going to continue to offer those services and whatnot. So, but speaking of services, I know Jay wants to talk a little bit about some good news about the electric bill. And we've done several things over the past year to help our members view and pay their bills a little bit differently and more easily. And so Jay, could you tell the members some of those things that ever happened last year with the electric bill?
Sure. How many get an electric bill? Let's see hands. We probably almost all do. Have you noticed the changes on the electric bill? The format has changed, and the bill shows you more information about your electricity use. And when you get home, look at the upper right side of your bill, and you will see more information about your use of electricity than ever before. You will see graphs that plot your use of the month being billed and the 12 months prior to that. Last year, we also introduced SubHub, the upgraded online bill payment system. You may have known this as eBill. Through the Smart Hub, you can view and pay your bills over the internet while learning more than ever before about your daily, monthly, and yearly use of your electricity. We are working to help you make the most of your use of electricity by giving you more information both on your bill and online. In a few words, those are the highlights from last year. Moving forward, we will continue to build for the future in a variety of ways, but always staying true to our original mission of providing affordable, reliable electric power and improving the quality of life in the communities we serve. Please take time to read your annual report and learn even more. We will now continue the business meeting with the call of any unfinished business. The floor is now open for unfinished business, and according to the minutes, there was no unfinished business from last year's meeting. The floor is now open to new business. There are 2 microphones stationed in the aisles of the auditorium for the courtesy of all. If you have any questions or comments at this time, please move to one of the microphones where you can be called on and addressed and to the board. And please, any comments or questions should be limited to 2 minutes. So is there any questions from any of you at this meeting? We must have answered those questions. If not, we'll move on. And has the credentialed election committee, have they returned yet? Has Ted Schaefer returned? Okay. Could go
Do a
right
door
into
prize drawing?
some door prizes while we wait.
That'll make them happy. Yeah, we'll keep doing that. Yeah.
Our first door prize will be for an experience at Gettysburg, donated by various Co-op Connection participants, Gettysburg Visitor Center, Gina Wade House, the Pike, and Brewster's. So this is Experience Gettysburg. And the number, 5899363. 5899363. Going once? No one? Okay, we need another ticket. This ticket number is 5899413. 5899413. Over here, Elizabeth Herr. We'll move over to the election committee. I think they have returned, and to give their information.
These are the official results of the 2013 director elections that were overseen by the Credentials and Election Committee. There were 2,495 mail-in ballots, 393 online ballots, and 49 ballots cast today, with a total of 2,937 ballots cast. The membership has elected the following directors for 3-year terms. Zone 2, Thomas Harbaugh. Zone 6, Nadine Hubner. Zone 7, Jay Grove. That's a big surprise.
Thank you, Ted, and a special thank you to the entire 2013 Credentials Election Committee for their service to the cooperative. And also, we want to say, if you brought your children with you today and they were in the children's program, please go now to the lobby just outside the auditorium and where the children are waiting to be picked up. And the cards are given to you as a children's registration was. They gave you a card. And to one of the adult helping with the children's program, and they will release your child to you. Like I said, any extra children will be used as door prizes. Okay, I think we can move on. Moving on to another door prize. The next drawing will be for a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Aero Energy. $5899353. Raise hands high. Oh, yeah. We like those kind. She's so excited, though, she almost went over the chair. You have that? Next. The next drawing is a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Aspen Tree Expert Company. 5900528. 5900528. Oh. Not going there. That happens to be my sister.
And a new member.
And a brand new member. The next drawing will be for a $100 Lowe's gift card. And it's from CoBank, one of our bankers. 5899417. 5899417. We have her over here on the left. Next one. The next drawing will be for another $100 Lowe's gift card from CoBank. 5899354. 5899354. I could use that. No one here? We will go for another one. You have somebody here? What'd you say? Shake the can. I agree. Have them pull another one. Wow. 5900418. Does that help? Anybody? 5900418. Shake the can. 5899396. 5899396. We have her in the center aisle. The next drawing will be for a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Cooperative Finance Corporation, another one of our bankers. 5900529. 5900529. Okay. The next drawing will be for a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Cooperative Finance Corporation again. 5900496. 5900496. Good. And the next drawing will be for still another $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by one of our bankers, Cooperative Finance Corporation. 5899421. 5899421. Okay. The next drawing will be for a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Adams Electric. 5899364. 5899364. Good. Need to dress in red. Oh, it's in white. Okay. The next drawing will be for 100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Adams Electric. 5899365. Okay, over here. The next drawing will be for a $100 credit on your electric bill, sponsored by Adams Electric also. 5900590. 5900, did I say 590? It's 490. Let me say it again, 5900490, right here. Our final door prize is for an Apple iPad 4 with 16 gigs of memory and a wireless network card. Ooh, yeah. 5900426. 5900426. Going once. Twice. Somebody say something? Gone. I didn't see it. So another card, please. $5900484. Here we go, right here in the center. We will now hold the drawing for 2 children door prizes. Parents should have received door prizes tickets for each child registered at the children's program. So the children in? Where are they? Hopefully. Both door prizes are the same. And we have 2 Sony 16 gig Walkmans, AV players, for 2 lucky children. Here we go, kids. 343786. Are the children in? 3, over there, clear over the side. Clear over to that right side. And we need one more. 343784. 34, clear over it again. Congratulations to all the door prize winners. There being no further business to come before this meeting, I declare the meeting to be adjourned. Please have a safe trip home. Thank you for attending. So, Nadine, yeah, we got it.